Hello, and welcome to the John Ark Show. This episode is called The Crime World is Now Creating More Jobs Than the Fortune 500. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, follow, and comment on the show. Also, I'd like to tell you about Hollywood is Calling. It is a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls with more than 100 of your favorite movie stars and athletes and VIPs. A live 15-second call is $19.95, and a live 30-second call is $29.95. You can purchase them for yourself or as a gift for someone you know. It's something you can buy at random or on special occasions as gifts. So give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now, let's get started. If you've watched the news at all in the last 6 months, then you've seen how many companies, small, mid-sized, and large corporations have collapsed and filed for bankruptcy. In addition to that, there are countless other zombie companies out there that haven't officially filed for bankruptcy yet, but they're still hoping the government will provide some financial assistance or perhaps some sort of economic miracle will occur. If you've gone out to a mall in the last few months, then you've probably seen what looks like something out of a zombie movie or a sci-fi thriller. That's because so many of the stores in the malls have closed, and it looks really eerie. If you haven't experienced it and you don't want to actually go to the mall, you can go on YouTube and check out the videos. Store after store after store is closed. The next thing you'll notice is how many companies are letting employees work from home permanently. Now, that's both a really good thing and a huge challenge for some businesses. It's great because it's super convenient for employees and it makes their workdays much more productive because they don't have to spend countless hours sitting in traffic commuting to and from work. It also allows companies to reduce the amount of office space they have to lease because there's not as much needed by the companies anymore. But all of this working from home means that businesses that rely on commuters and people moving about, those businesses are taking a tremendous hit. Car sales have tanked. Gas stations have taken a serious hit because people aren't driving, so they don't need as much gas. The airlines have seen their sales collapse as people would rather meet somebody via Zoom video than get on a plane and meet with them face to face. And because there is less travel, then there is less need for hotels. So that's why so many of those hotels are empty and doing everything in their power to avoid going into bankruptcy. So on top of all these problems, you now have a growing number of states that are claiming an inability to process all the unemployment applications they're getting. And as a result, some people who are applying aren't getting their checks. Not only have they not received them months after applying, but the states can't tell them when those unemployment checks will begin to go out. The growing fear out there is that the real reason the unemployment checks aren't being mailed out is because the states are actually broke and don't have any money to send to these unemployed people, and that they're simply stalling. Now think about it. We live in a digital age. We live in an age where the typical smartphone has more computing power now than mainframe computers used to have just a few years ago. And the states that aren't mailing out those unemployment checks actually have the audacity to say that they're overwhelmed, they're burdened, they're backed up. You know, a lot of these unemployment claims are processed online over the web. So it's all electronic. It's not like you're moving more paperwork. It's not like you're filling out more physical applications. So these excuses are fairly transparent and people see through them. With approximately 40 million Americans out of work, there is an unbelievable amount of economic pressure on unemployed people out there to put food on the table for their families. The job market is no longer viable for millions of people now because the companies they used to work for, they don't exist anymore. And many of the other companies they would have applied to are no longer open or they're not hiring at all. So, what are the growth sectors in this economy? Well, let me tell you. Crime is now the largest growth sector in the economy. You have some cities in the US and abroad, especially abroad, that have seen nonstop rioting going on for months now with little or no intervention from the police. Crimes like burglary have skyrocketed in major cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, and other places. Murders have doubled in many of those places. Street crimes, drugs, assaults, rapes, not just rapes, but now these morons are filming themselves raping people in the subways and then posting that nonsense online. That's the level of insanity people are dealing with now. It's this new phenomena of videotaping crimes as you commit them in order to increase your street cred and then posting that nonsense online so you can boast about it. All these crimes are increasing so dramatically that many believe the official numbers don't give us an honest appraisal of how bad it really is out there. What about organized crime? Well, we forecast that the world of organized crime is experiencing its greatest growth period in the history of the world, and that many of the sectors that it controls are going to be more profitable and hire more people than ever before. Remember, not everybody who works in organized crime knows they work in organized crime. You could be working in some retail store or some restaurant that's just a money laundering front for a criminal organization and never have a clue. There are a lot of people out there who work for organized crime and have no idea. Other businesses like money laundering, drug sales, prostitution, identity theft, credit card theft, gambling, extortion, product counterfeiting, that's a major industry. Organized and large-scale car theft, human trafficking. All these industries become much more profitable when the economy gets as bad as it is now. Now, that's just organized crime. You also have white-collar crime, and that is seeing an explosive growth as well. White-collar crime criminals are usually much more sophisticated than ordinary criminals, and because of their ability to hide behind a keyboard when they commit their crimes, this allows them to engage in much less violence than you would see in the normal world of street crime. Because there is so much less danger in this sort of white-collar criminal activity, the barrier to entry is much lower and much safer. Because it's just you and your laptop, you don't have to pay protection money to some criminal organization, and you don't have to worry about getting shot in the head every time you leave the house. This has led to an explosion in the creation of what we call digital criminal franchises that you can purchase on the dark web. So what's a digital criminal franchise, you ask? Well, in the real world, when you purchase a legitimate business franchise, they will give you training, rules and regulations, all designed to help you make your franchise a success and to help you grow it. In the world of white-collar crime, a complete novice with a little bit of computer skills can go online and purchase a digital criminal franchise for X number of dollars, and they can receive a digital file that creates everything they need to know and use to start their own identity theft business or their own stolen credit card business or countless other criminal opportunities for them to pursue. So you have some 20-year-old kid whose single mother is out of work. She can't find a job anywhere. The state's not mailing her her unemployment check because they're claiming they have computer problems. So what does he do? He ventures out onto the darknet and buys a digital criminal franchise of his own that will teach him how to get into the identity theft business or the stolen credit card business or something else. Within a few days, this digital franchise can teach him how to make enough money for his family to put food on the table and pay the rent. As long as most of these people don't get crazy greedy and start trying to steal millions of dollars, but rather keep their thefts small enough to support their families, but yet stay under the radar of law enforcement, then we suspect many of them won't get caught. At the street level, you now have ordinary citizens out there who have lost their jobs and they have completely depleted their savings. And they're now looking around at their kids and saying, I'm going to have to do something quickly uh, because things are getting desperate here for my family. So some of them will start stealing cars, selling drugs, burglarizing homes, or engaging in other street crimes. At the organized crime level, the enormous growth those guys are experiencing will cause them to need more people to grow their businesses, and that will create a lot of openings. We forecast that because the Fortune 500 have reduced their hiring and their payrolls to such low levels worldwide, and because as an industry, the criminal sector has exploded in growth, we believe that in the short term, the largest creator of jobs will be the world of organized crime, and the biggest loser of jobs will be the Fortune 500. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.